This is an examination of the hidden human condition.
This is the Hidden Killers Podcast
With Tony Bruschi.
The Hamilton County Coroner announced the identification of Jeffrey A. Jones. This is in connection with the Herb Baumeister. Can I ever say this correctly? Baumeister. There we go. Baumeister case. It marks the 12th confirmed victim now. Advancements in DNA technology have facilitated these efforts, with several agencies collaborating to identify more victims despite the challenging conditions. And this goes way back. This is a very dark one, isn't it, Carol?
It's very dark, and it goes back to the 90s, and he's since died.
Mm-hmm.
But they have found all of these, I don't know, for lack of a better word, it's 10,000 human remains, bits. So it could be teeth, it could be small bone fragments.
And it doesn't mean
10,000.
It doesn't mean 10,000 people. It means 10,000. So like one person could be, I'm not trying to be gruesome here, but one person could be broken up to do 1,000 pieces, in theory. Mm-hmm. And that, that goes into that 10,000 count, but that's still a lot of pieces of people to find.
That's a lot of evidence. And so far they've identified 12.
God.
For sure. I can't imagine. He lived on this property with his family.
Oh my God. This is truly a horror story. And they were recovered from the farm of the alleged serial killer, Herb Baumeister. Go over see Herb. He'll take care of you.
Sounds like an accountant or something. He doesn't sound like a serial killer.
Herb's got you. They've been identified, like I said, to Jeffrey A. Jones. This one reported missing in 93. Advancements in DNA technology have made this all possible. It's been revitalizing efforts to name more victims. Coroner Jeff Jellison highlighted that 3 victims have been identified recently and 4 more DNA profiles have been submitted to the FBI for potential matches. Experts of the FBI, Indiana State Police Laboratory, University of Indianapolis, and Texas-based Othram Laboratory all collaborated on the effort, saying, quote, "This investigation is extremely challenging due to the condition of the remains," Jellison stated, noting that many were found burnt and crushed. Despite these obstacles, the team remains committed to identifying the victims. Key to the investigation was an informant, Tony Harris, who met Baumeister posing as Brian Smarts at a gay bar and later escaped an attempted strangulation at Fox Hollow Farm. Harris reported the incident to authorities, but the police struggled to locate the farm based on his description. It wasn't until over a year later that Harris encountered Brian Smart again, providing a crucial tip to the police. Virgil Vandegrift, a retired Marion County detective who had previously investigated missing queer men in the area, including Goodlet, told local NBC affiliate WTHR that when Harris spotted Smart the second time, he managed to record Smart's license plate number. This information was instrumental in identifying Brian Smart as Herb Baumeister. By this time, Baumeister's marriage of more than 20 years to his wife, Julie, had all but fallen apart. The couple had 3 children, including a 15-year-old son, who made a grisly discovery in the woods behind their Fox Hollow home nearly 2 years before their 1996 divorce. According to local ABC affiliate WRTV, in 1994, around the same time, Indianapolis police began searching for a serial killer targeting gay men. Baumeister's son found a human skull on their property. That'd be a fun one when you're out there playing, being a little kid. Mom, look at this. Can we use it for Halloween? I mean, that would be my question.
How horrific.
You wouldn't be thinking dad's, killing gay men in the backyard. Detectives reported that Julie Baumeister instructed her son to leave the skull in the woods until his father returned home. When she later confronted Herbert Baumeister, he claimed it was a remnant from his father's medical practice.
Like, what?
Why?
Dad used to always bring skulls home, and we just threw them in the yard.
I think I would just play surprised, like I have no idea where that's weird. Julie accepted this explanation for 2 years, but reconsidered upon filing for divorce. Initially, the couple had rebuffed police attempts to search the property, but once Herbert was away, Julie allowed the search. Police then discovered a skull, teeth, and other bone fragments. At this point, Baumeister had fled to Ontario, Canada. Once there, police say he killed himself. He left a suicide note at the scene, but made no mention of his victims, only mentioning his failing thrift store business and marriage. The victim's family had been waiting over a quarter century for answers, Jellison said, and he was determined to bring them closure. In fact, it was Alan Livingston's cousins who approached Jellison last year, urging him to expedite the identification process. Livingston's mother, Sharon, now in her mid-70s and been long holding on to hope for information about her son, had been diagnosed with 2 forms of terminal cancer. Her cousin explained. Sharon told WTHR in 2022 that she kept a landline in her home for more than 30 years because it was the only number her son knew when he disappeared. As cell phones weren't common at that time, she reported him missing just days after not hearing from him. I know that man got him. I just know, Sharon said of Baumeister in a 2022 interview. I'm pretty sure they're going to find him. I just know they are. In October, Jellison expressed amazement after positively confirming Alan Livingston's remains, marking the first positive identification since the 1990s. What are the odds? Out of 10,000 remains, we've selected 44, and the first identification is a person from a family that initiated this whole thing, he said. Where does that come from?
Wow. Isn't that something?
Jellison said his office initially celebrated the success of identifying Livingston, but the joy was quickly tempered by the realization that another murder victim had been found. The current owners of Fox Hollow has continued to find fragments and submits them to authorities. The investigation into Baumeister's activities has revealed at least 25 victims from the remains found on his property. By 1999, police had linked Baumeister to 16 missing men whose bodies were found in streams across Indiana and Ohio. Renewed efforts to identify more victims began in November 2022 when Jellison was partnering with forensics labs to extract DNA from the remains. Jellison's team continues to urge those with missing loved ones from that period to contact the coroner's office, hoping to bring closure to more families after decades of uncertainty.
Yeah.
That
is horrific. And who knows the number? Because not only on the farm did he obviously dispose of victims, but it said, what did it say about in other locations? It sounds like 2.
Yeah.
Found in streams across Indiana and Ohio. Like, these remains could be anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
This could be hundreds of people. It could be 100 people. Who knows?
I have no idea what this farm looks like, but I'm wondering, if you go around the whole property with a rototiller, like a big one on the back of a tractor that just really tills the ground up, like for planting stuff. I wonder what you'd find once you just did a walk around that and you just keep doing it, because I'd imagine you're going to find a lot more pieces and maybe more closure that could be brought to more families if they were to do something like that.
And the son of a bitch took the secrets with him. It's like, oh, my poor failed thrift store and my wife is divorcing me. But the guy killed who knows how many people.
Yeah.
And he gives no closure to these families. Who knows? There are people whose loved ones went missing. They might not have even associated with this.
That's true.
And you'll never, ever know.
Well,
I'm glad at least they're identifying some of these people because their families deserve it.
Yeah.
You don't want to know that happened, but you want the closure.
Yeah.
It's just horrific. It's just like these people meant nothing.
No, well, and they don't to people like that. People like that view people as objects. I mean, the same way where, you say like he doesn't give them any closure. He doesn't care. Like that doesn't cross his mind or didn't cross his mind. I mean, the same way it didn't cross his mind that, the impact that this will make on other lives and this person's lives who they're taking, it's just not there.
But I'm glad they are still working this because that's a really old case from the 1990s.
It is. And
so the fact that they're still testing those remains for their DNA and hoping to identify them.
Yeah. I think
that's the least that can be done for these families.
I wonder though, my question on this, okay, so you have all these like fragments and pieces. What the hell did he do to these bodies that they're in all these different pieces, like around did he like wood chip them or something? And I mean, that's all I can think of.
10,000 10,000, and they're still finding more.
That sounds like wood chipper. I mean, oh my God, like straight out of Fargo.
And you don't know how big these pieces are.
Yeah.
I would imagine there's a lot of small pieces.
I would imagine if you look at the fragments and you look at several of them, you could probably, my guess would be, if it was something like a wood chipper, you could kind of determine based on how that's broken up or cut or whatever. I don't know. Not an expert in any of that, but that doesn't sound like a dismemberment when there's that many pieces. That sounds like the body was, destroyed, chopped up or ground up or something. I don't know. Blown
when you
up.
Think about having 100 of anything in front of you. Like think about a crossword or a jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah.
I mean. Like if you have 500 pieces in front of you, that's a lot. 1,000's a lot.
Yeah.
10,000.
Yeah,
Can you imagine I
don't know.
all those? Where would you even start?
I'm going to have to guess wood chipper was involved in this. That's the only thing I can think of for something like this. I
Horrific.
Absolutely.
Want to listen ad-free? Want advanced access to all of our interviews before anyone else?
Become a True Crime Today Premium Plus subscriber on Apple Podcasts.
You get every episode commercial-free.
So you can binge on true crime
until you can binge no more.
Search True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts now, or go to our podcast page and sign up now.
More of the Hidden Killers podcast next.